again. Hello everybody, and today I'm in my kitchen. This is horrible. And I think it's a time to snuggle up, make yourself comfy and cozy. Right. The thing is, I have to be honest. I tried probably 3 or 4 times yesterday to record this video, and didn't work. Didn't work at all. But eventually I come out with some pattern. That's the beginning for Poncho, which is as usual, crochet as you go, and only measurements just about. You need to take it how wide you want it around your neck. That's it. Obviously, if you want it very close to your neck, you need to make sure it goes through your head. That's the thing you have to remember. Right, so today's topic of this video is poncho. Poncho is quite easy thing to do and quite straightforward. I normally do all my ponchos in one piece, just make a chain, okay, make a crochet chain, and that's a crochet chain. Just imagine you pull it in both sides and you get one bit and another bit. That's if you look at this like that, that's this two places when you're supposed to do increase. And if you've never done it before, so it's quite very simple. So if you got just circle completed chain joined together, so pretty nice circle, and you continue to crochet just round and round and round and round, you end up with pipe. Good for your neck, but not much for your shoulders and body. So there's a little trick you can do. So if you just do in 2 points opposite each other, increase, which creates nice garment. It's lovely, increasing the how wide it is. And when it's done, so just if you just imagine, sorry, that's somebody else, shoulders, neck, and if you put it how it's drawn on the top, it's gonna provide nice coverage for arms and just not too much for body. Fair enough, somebody fancies that as well, no problem. But if you just twist it on like 90 degrees and put these corners in front, so another pair of shoulders, and so basically you get that corner from your shoulder in front of you. That's gonna look like that. So less coverage on the arms and more coverage on the body. Yes, that's in theory, but just bear with me. I'm sure you will see it's actually in practice as well. So as I told you, I tried to start crocheting this poncho 3 or 4 times yesterday. So obviously I come out with how you can start it, and I don't want to unpick it to start again. So I just quickly explain to you how I done this. So obviously I done a chain, crochet chain, spotted 2 and on each side. So quite, it's not very crucial, but it's important that both sides are equal amount of stitches, because you don't want one corner goes this way, another goes another way, so you want it quite symmetrical. Unless you want it wonky, then you can just do whatever you want. And first row, so I just imagine this is chain in front of you, you're holding it. So first row I done, so this is point, goes somewhere here, just for you to easy to see it. I done 3 single crochet with chain stitch in between, so that's like a mini shell. And I done single crochet in every second. Every second stitch of chain, and I done stitch of chain in between. Yeah, so all that so this increase point from one side, and I went all the way with this pattern, and in this point I done again increase like half shell, and all the way back I done this. Second row, that was a crucial moment for me. I'm glad I found out the way how I can do it. So again, in a place where you do increase, you do like a half shell stitch on the top of middle single crochet from row below. And next what I did was so I explain 1 second why I done that. Okay. Right. So if you look at this picture here, you will see that the shape of your, if you just do increases in 2 bits, you all obviously end up with like a pyramid cut off of top, and when it doesn't lay on your shoulders, it's gonna be like slightly sticking up to your neck. Again, somebody's looking for it. I looked for shape that's my poncho laying on the shoulders, and conus, we would say, this looks like a conus, gonna go above the shoulders. So I wanted slightly less steepy. So I want it laying on the shoulders, not sticking up. And this one row, which obviously, maybe it's easier. And this second row, it's what it does. It gives you slight increase in the length of row, but not too much. You won't get too wavy, too big. Just after you've done your increase point, half shelf, you do one single crochet in one point from on top of crochet chain on from previous row, and you do 2 single crochet with chain in between in one point. Again, every next row is crocheted on a chain stitch, not on a single crochet on a chain stitch. So that's what you can see if you look at this one. You see, it's, if you put it on yourself, the line is pretty much horizontal. Right, and for you, when you, if you try to repeat this pattern, you just depends on how tight you crochet and how thick your yarn is. Again, you might need to do it only once or maybe twice, just to keep up with shape. And as you can see, I always start my row from increase point, and increase point is just 3 single crochet and chain in between, just 1 stitch of chain in between. If you start doing it straight away from left, oh sorry, probably right side of, you always end up with quite, I always end up with some mess. So I find out for myself little trick how to always keep on this top. Alright, so just to mimic single crochet when you start from a previous row, I do 3 stitches of chain, 1 chain which is in between, and go back in the same hole. Right, so at the moment I got only 2, and when I come through on this side to end row, I'm gonna put a last of 3 single crochet, 1 chain, and I'm gonna join it on the top of middle one. So that's the reason how I always stay in the middle of this stitch, and I never end up with some bulky movement to get to the top. Right, so now basically just 1, so half of increase is done, 1 chain, and I start on the top of chain stitch from previous row. So basically every stitch you do on a new row, you do it from chain row below. And just now I'm doing this some sort of net, like imitation of brick wall. So every hole slightly shifted compared to previous one. I don't know, I just fancy that a bit more than a square net all over the place. I should mention that I'm using my hand spun yarn, and I just think it's not gonna be enough, so I'm gonna use this lovely hand spun yarn with nice sparkle. they go, I think they go well together. And I know it might be a bit boring for you watching me crocheting, so I just speed it up a bit for you. So now I approach the second point of increase, and what I do, I just one chain, one single crochet, one chain, one single crochet again on the top of middle crochet from previous row, another chain, another crochet, and that's it. It's all done, nice and clear. And one single crochet afterwards, one chain, one stitch of chain, one single crochet in a place again, first chain after increase stitch in previous row, and continue one chain, one single crochet, one chain, one single crochet, and so on. I got the feeling it's going to be nice and quick project, especially when you do something with chunky yarn. And it's not just chunky, it's incredibly soft, because I spun it with a lot of silk mixed together with wool, and I think there's some alpaca as well. So quite luxurious, I know. Yes. All right. So if you got just one type of yarn you want to use for a poncho, fine. But if you, like me, having something in mind, like put some different colors, so I can show you how I put stripes of different color and trying to make it very tidy. Okay, right, now I almost finished my 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth row, and I promise you how I show you how I end the row. So I already done half of semi shell, so I done one stitch of chain, and I now put my hook through the same hole where I started my increased stitch on the top of single crochet from previous row. In this particular case it is 3 stitch of chain to imitate the single crochet. So I finished my third single crochet, one stitch of chain, and after I just join it. So I go on the top of where I think top of my middle single crochet, pull the yarn through. So you see I've got 2 loops on my hook, and I pull one through like that. So as a result, nice clear shape, no bulkiness, nothing, and I can continue doing it. Okay, but at the moment I just want to show you and talk about how you can add different colors in a crochet you do. First of all, when you choosing colors you're gonna mix, and quite often it's not the same brand of your 2 different or 3 different yarns, and obviously because it's hand spun, one is slightly thicker than another one, and this one is more like thick and thin, something like that. If you, from my experience, if I do more than 1 row of thicker yarn, I end up with quite bulky and heavy line on a garment. If it's what you're looking for, go ahead, no problem at all. I personally not really like it, and for me it's solution to do only 1 row, so use this yarn only for 1 row. But what I can do, I can mix it like 1 row of bulky, 1 row of thinner, 1 more bulky, 1 more of thinner. In this way your garment will stay more or less consistent and a bit smoother. That's just my from my experience. So how I add a new color? There are many ways you can do it without cutting new thread, but I personally prefer to do and cut it off. Cut it off, and I have left 1 loop on my hook, and I just simply close it. Bye. You work well. So now I take a second one. I start as just with 1 tiny loop, like when you start to do your first stitch or something, when you just start your project. And I do wrap around, and on the top of my half of shell, and basically I do single crochet on top like that. So you see the color starts exactly on the bottom, from the bottom. If you join your threads, you might end up with some of color on the length of first stitch. I personally don't like it. So, and because I need to do second one, so 1 stitch of chain, another single crochet part of increased stitch, and I continue row as like that's supposed to be, like nothing happened, like I'm using the same thread as before. So in this way you always have clean edges and no problem at all. Obviously this end could be hidden inside the garment, and if the extra excess, you just cut it off. Right, and this end as well could be hidden in a garment, so nobody will see anything. Nobody will know anything. Okay. I almost completed that row with one row with different color, and just want to show you how you change the color back to first one. Obviously you make your last third single crochet to complete the pattern. You do your chain and you just join all things together, right? And again simply cut it off, just about maybe 1.5 inch, and you close it, you tight it, and just simply hide it on the top line of your garment. And that's done. The second end need to be hidden. That's it. You see, this way I know quite commonly used at granny's squares, when people using different colors, every row is different color, so that's where I learned it from. That's it. See, nice and clean, no ends sticking out, no any knots or anything like that. So back to my first color. I'm making my first loop like that and just tie it along. That's it. That's where I start from. You also can do just if you want to make it as even as possible, you can do one corner start from here, one corner start from here. So you just one color start here and one color start there. In this way you get a bit even better, smooth finish, but it's up to you. I keep in one so I know where I'm doing from. And another thing that I wanted to say, when you crocheting as you go, you always can put it flat and you can see, are you happy with how your garment going? Are you happy with you know, all edges, nothing wavy, everything is nice and smooth in the shape you want it. And it's basically like you creating your own pattern, but you're not like lost in a space. You are guided by your method, which is in your head. Right, so back to our Poncho. Right, so I got first loop on my hook. I wrap hook around and I push it through the on the top of my middle single crochet from previous row. And now I just do this first single crochet, middle one, and now second one, and I back to my pattern, one chain, one single crochet, one chain, one single crochet. That's it. So after I finish this row, I will show you that even I used the second color, slightly bulkier, slightly chunkier yarn. You won't see any deformation in a garment. Contrast is not very big, But if I do second row of this yarn, it definitely will increase the feeling that is very heavy. That's just recommendation when you're choosing your yarns for different project, not particular this one. So you just keep in mind that if something different thickness, it's alright to do one row, well maybe two if you're knitting, but you have to change the yarn more often so it will look more even along. Okay. At the moment when I look at it, I can feel slight bit tension in the last row, which means garment trying to go in a shape. It's crochet. So, but I want to keep a bit longer this line parallel with my shoulders. So I think it's a time for another second row where I mixed to slightly different combination of stitches. Increase point is not without changes. Starts with 3 chain stitches to imitate a single crochet, and 1 chain in between. So second single crochet, 1 chain, single crochet, chain, and now I do 2 single crochet with chain in between in 1 point, so it looks like a V shape. You get this V shape, but I'm not gonna do it 1 single crochet, 1 V shape. I'm gonna do 1 single crochet, 1 V shape, 2 single crochet, 1 V shape, 2 single crochet, 1 V shape. So I will get slightly increase in the garment, but not too much, because I don't want to go too wide and too wavy. I just want to keep up with that shape which will fit my body better. I don't want anything sticking up or get bubbly. So as you see, I done half of my increase point. 1 single crochet, and remember you have chain, 1 stitch of chain in between each single crochet. Next is 2 single crochets from 1 point with chain in between. Single crochet, and again 2 from 1 point. What gives me slightly wider edge than row below, that's all. It doesn't matter if when I pass half of row and come to the increasing point, I end up, instead of 1 single crochet, I had to do double with V shape. It's fine, absolutely fine. I start V shape here as well, and I more likely end up with single crochet in the end of row. Fine. Right, so I completed that increasing row, and as you can see, it's nice and flat, nothing wobbly, no tension. And if you fold it, you see lines are gonna be parallel shoulders. But I think it's last increase row I need to do in this project, because even after couple rows, if it goes down, I'm absolutely fine with it, because that's a poncho, it's supposed to go down. Okay. And I wanted to mention one simple thing about how you deal with mistakes when you crochet. I was told by a person who taught me how to knit, because crochet I learned myself, that you have to always fix your mistakes, even if it's take, like, you know, big chunk of your garment be unpicked. You better do it when it's just little chunk of your garment, rather when you complete the project, and you're always gonna know there is mistake. You're always gonna see it, even if nobody else notices it. And that's probably the reason why you're not gonna wear it. So ask yourself, you are worried about unpick just obviously tiny bit of your garment rather than all. But, and you just feeling sorry for yourself. But you don't think it's you think it's okay to complete project and never use it after. I find it quite funny. So if you made mistake, and if you ask me, fix it and pick until you come to mistake. Or if you need, of course you can just loosen up some stitches and pick it up again. But never leave mistakes in your garment, because that's the reason why you just never gonna love it. Okay, no more lectures. I think I'm gonna continue crocheting this poncho off camera, and I gonna meet you when it's finished, because if any changes come out, of course I'm gonna film it and I'm gonna show you. But for the rest of project, it's gonna be just 2 increasing points, like a semi-shell, and net stitch, so nothing extraordinary. But I definitely gonna show you when it's done. Okay, see you soon. And couple hours later, ta-da! Obviously it needs to be steamed and stretched a bit in the right shape, but you see what I mean? Yeah, right. And as I told you before, you can wear it this way, right? Or you can wear it this way. Obviously, if I had a bit more yarn, it would have been bigger, but for educational purposes, I think it's big enough. I got just tiny ball left, and the dark gray, the same size. So I just want to do some around neck, just to finish the yarn so it doesn't wander around. I hope this video was useful for you, and please consider subscribing. If you have any questions or I missed something, please let me know in comments. Thank you very much.